Hello, 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 guys. So I thought we just received breaking news that Takeoff's killer was arrested today. And I tell you, it shocked literally the entire internet because us internet investigators suspected it was Little Cam the whole time. And I don't know, looks like we were wrong. So I thought let's talk about who this guy is. Who is Patrick Clark? I mean, he literally came out of left field. We don't know who this guy is. But I thought there was some interesting things to see, like where was he positioned? Was he actually seen at this party? Because I know when we saw the videos, we didn't see a Patrick Clark. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't see a Patrick Clark. So there is this lovely Instagram guy that I love following. He is called The Vault, if you guys know about him. I've been referring to him a lot. And talking about a little about Patrick, he is a DJ. He's a popular DJ in Houston. Who would have thought a DJ would kill anybody? Like a DJ? A DJ is not usually a thug. So, and why was he with a gun? I'm just like, what? So, just a little thing about him. He was a DJ, but he had to have known or felt some type of consciousness of guilt, okay, that he killed Takeoff because he tried to flee. But before we get into that, look at this picture, y'all. Look at this picture. There he is at the event. None of us noticed him. The alleged killer is in the surveillance video. There he is. At the bowling alley minutes before Takeoff was shot and killed. Wow. So I don't think the authorities are going to release the surveillance. They are pretty much tight-lipped about this whole incident, you guys. So they're not going to say anything. A lot of people online are enraged. They're thinking there's no way some DJ is the killer, right? So here's some comments people are saying. Some people say this is bullcrap. I don't believe he did this. Cam killed Takeoff, period. And I say allegedly, but this person, there's people online that are just insisting it's Lil Cam. Like they think that Pat Clark is the fall guy. Like people are enraged. I've not seen this much outrage in a case in a long time, but it's like floating around on Twitter. It's like literally online. This person says not buying it. Oh, it's the same person. This person's really angry because they're clearly not buying it. Let's see what they say. They say, why wasn't he spotted in the original videos? They are really skeptical. They think that this guy was planted and they think they're trying to get Lil Cam off. This person says, but y'all was so pressing the issue on Cam. Just messy. How about don't post anything unless it's confirmed facts? Let the investigators do their job. And people really was paying to get y'all close friends. Well, you know, we saw what we saw, y'all. We saw what we saw. Take was injured by 2 different weapons. This is what this person says. They know DJ JP delivered the fatal blow, but that still leaves the other injury that occurred to the torso. They have Yellow Hoodie on camera with a weapon, but they can't prove he actually delivered that shot unless they can test the weapon. We don't know if law enforcement has the weapons. We don't even know what law enforcement has. They may feel, but that prosecutor was so confident, y'all. It was as if he did the ballistics already and knew for a fact that he cleared Cam of the murder part. So I don't know, guys. What do you guys think about all the different uproar? Because there's a lot of like people are in an uproar. They're angry. This person says, my guess is Yellow Gossip dumped the weapon and HPD can't test it because it's long gone. So they kick him up on a felony with a weapon rap. You know what? This lady right here might be onto something. What if Lil Cam ditched the weapon and the law enforcement can't find it and they know they can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he delivered any of the blows? So all they can do is just get him for a little weapons charge and hope somebody will talk. That could be a possibility. They probably just charged him with this weapon charge because they know they don't have the evidence to prove. Crazy. Somebody else says that was him. I went through all my footage and it's him. It makes sense. I was sure the shooter came from behind the Chucky person because in a video you could see a trail of blood on the floor and the person who was shot dripped blood from about that spot forward. So there he is, guys. You could see him in this photo close up so y'all could see him. He was there. He was there and he was in the vicinity. But for some reason, he seems to think that he's guilty too because of his subsequent actions, y'all. He had to have known he delivered the blows because why did he try to flee? The prosecutor say in court documents that Patrick Xavier applied for an expedited passport right after Takeoff's murder by submitting an itinerary for a flight to Mexico, y'all. He was trying to flee to Mexico and he had a wad of cash. They were saying when he was arrested, the prosecutors say he had already received the passport and he had a large sum of cash on him. So had they not arrested him, they got him just in time. The only reason why he was still here was because he was waiting for his passport. This guy didn't realize you don't need a passport to go to Mexico. They'll let you in, but you need your passport to come back, though, if you're trying to get back to America. He didn't know that. Thank God, because he would have fled. He was trying to flee. That, to me, his actions alone, at first I was side-eyeing and I was like, this charge came from left field. Where did this guy come from? But now I'm like, it makes sense because look at his actions. If he didn't do anything, why is he trying to flee to a whole different country? Why is he trying to get a passport? Because he was trying to get out of here because he knew he was going to be found out that he unalived allegedly Takeoff. And it's a DJ. It's like this whole story just shocking that it's a DJ that did it. A well-known DJ too, apparently. According to prosecutors in their court documents, they say that DJ Patrick, or DJ Pat, they call him, applied for an expedited passport. If that doesn't scream somebody who has a consciousness of guilt, I don't know what does, y'all. I can't tell you, because that to me is just screaming volumes that he felt guilty and he knew he was going to be found out. And so he fled. Okay, it's crazy, right? When he was arrested, prosecutors say he had received a passport and a large sum of cash on him. He's a flight risk and will not be granted bail. They actually have set his bail for $1 million. They should have gave him a no bond. Why they give little Cam no bond, but they're not going to give the alleged murderer no bond? And this guy's saying it's obvious HPD has a lot of information that they're not releasing right now. It's going to be interesting to see what this case is headed. I don't think they're done with their investigation. I think there's going to be more arrests. Let's see.
We're not going to discuss that right now. Still active in investigation. We told you, and just not a whole lot of detail. The main thing right now, he's in custody.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now. Still active in investigation. We told you. And
oh, did you guys hear that? They said, was it Joshua's gun? And look at his face. He's like, we're not going to release that right now. They're still trying to find the gun. This is not over, guys. This is not over. We might be right. We might be right. What if, because my question is, of all those guns that were going off, how is it just one person's gun that delivers all those multiple blows to Takeoff? Look at this. Let's look at this man's face when that question is asked. Look at his body language. He is hiding something from us, y'all, because he could have just said, this reporter said, was it Joshua's gun that delivered the blow? And he said, we're not going to answer that question right now. If he knew for a fact, he would have said no. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this.
Just not a whole lot of detail. The main thing right now, he's in custody.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now. Still active in investigation. We told you. And just not a whole lot of detail. The main thing right now, he's in custody.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now. It's still active in investigation. We told you, and just not a whole lot of details. The main thing right now, he's in custody. Right.
Wow, bombshell, guys, bombshell. The prosecutor, the only reason why the prosecutor that day said that he filed the right charges is because they don't have enough evidence yet against Cameron Joshua, because look at this law enforcement. He is not in agreement with what the prosecutor said. He said, we're not going to release that information right now. The main importance is that he's in custody, guys. They suspect he's still one of the shooters, but they don't have enough. Now my theory is starting to go that maybe Cameron Joshua did stash that gun. They don't have the murder weapon either. There's multiple. What if there's multiple people responsible for the death of Takeoff? What if allegedly Lil Cam is possibly still a contributing factor, but they don't have the evidence? Look at this man. He is hiding something, guys. This answer is way too evasive. If he knew for a fact that Cameron Joshua was 100% not involved, why would he say that? Takeoff had multiple bullets in him. It could possibly very well still be that allegedly Cameron Joshua's gun might have been responsible for some of those bullets, y'all. But they can't prove it. So they filed this possession charge because they knew they can prove that. But Cameron Joshua ditched that firearm. They can't find the gun. They don't have the evidence right now. They're still looking. They're trying to get people to speak. They're trying to get witnesses. People are being evasive. Listen to this again, guys. Listen to this and look at his face, because he would have answered the question. Listen to this man.
The main thing right now, he's in custody.
Right. Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now. It's still active in investigation. We told you, and just not a whole lot of details. The main thing right now, he's in custody.
Was it,
Oh my gosh, the main thing right now, they just wanted to lock this dude up at no bond while they try to build their case. There might have been multiple bullets that contributed to Takeoff's death, meaning multiple different people's guns are involved. Because mind you, now we know of a third person that we didn't even realize was involved. So that means we can at least count 3 people now who had guns, at least. We know Migo Bands, Cameron Joshua, and now Patrick Clark, who's arrested. They was able to establish, because see, and DJ was trying to flee. All he got an expedited passport trying to get to Mexico. We've been talking a lot about Mexico, man. Mexico has been busy with us folks. Wow, let's hear this next one, y'all.
essentially, we had to rely on a large volume of video surveillance evidence that came in, and cell phone videos and audio, things that surfaced over time in some cases that weren't available immediately. We had to sift through all of that and use physical evidence and use shooting reconstruction and confirm a lot of our ballistic evidence, what weapons were involved, things
of that nature. And through that, we were able to deduce that Patrick Clark is the lethal shooter in the case. That's why he's being charged with murder. You know, essentially, we had to rely on.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now. It's still active in investigation. We told you, and just not a whole lot of details. The main thing right now, he's in custody. All right.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now. It's still active in investigation. We told you, and just not a whole lot of details. The main thing right now, he's in custody. All right.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used?
We're not going to discuss that right now.
Guys, I'm sorry. I had to play that again.
We told you, and
I had to play that again because I am still floored by that. I had to play that a couple times, y'all. This is not over. Because I'm sitting here confused. I don't know about anybody else, but when I saw that video, I saw what I saw, and I felt like I saw him pull out Cameron Joshua pull out that gun and point it at Takeoff. So I'm like, when the prosecutor had that word of finalization, like, we charge the appropriate charges here, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not usually how a prosecutor will speak if they're still investigating. So it sounded like he finalized his part of it. But no. This chief right here opened a whole new can of worms. This is not over. He was so evasive with that answer. There's a lot more they're trying to figure out. I think Cameron Joshua stashed that gun. They don't have the evidence. That's what's the problem. They were able to prove it against Mr. DJ guy because clearly they got the evidence they needed. And DJ was trying to flee, y'all. Oh my God, he thought he was trying to flee. Girl of the Cali nurse, they said they have ballistics. They said that they did the ballistics and the forensics to prove it against Patrick. They have it against Patrick. The problem is the Cali nurse, they don't have enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Cameron Joshua's gun was a contributing factor. They're missing a lot of pieces of evidence and people aren't speaking against him. So what they did was they arrested him for the charge they knew that they could arrest him for, which was the firearm charge, because they wanted to get him into jail so that he wouldn't flee, which is why it makes sense to me now that they are being very, very aggressive about getting a no bond for him. I think they suspect he was one of the contributing factors of shooting Takeoff. I think they do, which is why they're arguing no bail. Oh my God, because that chief was way too evasive. And he said key words there. You just have to listen to people's words. They tell you with their words, but not directly. When he said the main importance is basically that he's in custody, that means they wanted him in custody and to keep him there until they can just prove that his gun was a contributing factor. And they don't have the proof right now. So the only evidence that they have that they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt is that possession charge. Whoa, that was a bombshell. I am like, wow. Am I the only one that's shocked about that? So y'all, maybe we weren't wrong. Let's just hold on. Let's hold on and hope they get the evidence they need and hope people speak, because the frustration is that people aren't speaking. So I also wanted to read this article to you just to kind of break down what this Mr. Patrick was trying to do. Patrick was trying to flee Mr. DJ Pat. Murder suspect tried to get an emergency passport, y'all. Emergency. This man was this behavior alone screams guilt. Because why are you trying to get an emergency passport? And also shows ignorance, because everybody know you don't really need a passport to go to Mexico. They'll let you in, but the only problem is you ain't gonna get out. You won't get out without your passport though. So you will need it to come back into the US. Mexico, they do their own thing. When Patrick Clark, or DJ Pat, was arrested, he reportedly had a large sum of cash and was prepared to flee to Mexico. He had a large amount of money with him. Shady. On the heels of news that Takeoff's alleged killer was arrested, more information is being shared. It puzzled the public why it took so long for police to make an arrest in the case. It's because they had to do ballistic. There was so many guns going on. They had to figure out which bullets were responsible for Takeoff's death. That's why this case was so difficult for them. Reports stated Takeoff was at a private event with Quavo in Houston when a verbal altercation occurred. Someone pulled out a gun and opened fire, striking Takeoff, who was described as an innocent bystander by police. According to court documents, Takeoff's alleged killer, Patrick Clark, DJ Pat is what they call him, well known in Houston, very well known. It's kind of like left field that you would think a DJ is responsible for killing somebody. A DJ? Is this a gangster type DJ? I never heard of a DJ going around. I don't know. Maybe he needs a gun for protection though. He applied for an emergency passport days after killing Takeoff, allegedly. Days after killing Takeoff, he applied for that passport. That is consciousness of guilt. He knew his gun was responsible for Takeoff's death. That's why he was fleeing. He knew it the whole time. And he booked a flight to Mexico. Booked a flight. Shady. I am so done. This was coming from DJ Academics. He did his legwork again, his little investigative self. He always investigates stuff. They need to put him on payroll. When police arrested him, he had large amounts of cash on him. Prosecutors claimed he's a flight risk for bond. So that's definitely going to go to the weight of their argument. I know they've at least set his bail for $1 million because he is definitely a flight risk. He was trying to flee to another country. Like, wow. So DJ Academic said, according to court documents, Takeoff alleged killer Patrick Clark, DJ Pat, applied for an emergency passport days after killing Takeoff and booked a flight to Mexico. That right there, all we needed to see was that to give us some confidence that he is one of the responsible people, right? When police arrested him, he had a large amount of cash on him. Prosecutors claimed he's a flight risk for bond. Wow. A turn of events, y'all. This tragedy is not predictable at this point. Like, you just cannot predict because you don't know. And it looks like this case is still open. So there may be more arrests, guys, a lot more arrests. This case is going to be a long, drawn-out case. There's so many different parts to it. DJ Pat is a familiar name in Houston's music circles. He's very familiar in Houston's music circles. And Academics update arrived after Houston Police Department held a press conference. It's unclear how Takeoff's alleged killer is connected to the group that also attended the event where the rapper was gunned down. That's another question that I have. This was a private party. Was he connected to the Prince family? That's what I want to know. What's his connection, if anything, to the Prince family? Or was he hired by the Prince family to be the DJ for the night for Jazz Prince's birthday? Like, we need to know that whole piece of the puzzle because there's so much more to this. And I want to know why the Prince family was being shady with their little rose garden thing they put out near the murder scene, talking about forgive and stop, exaggerating things and making it worse, or whatever he said. Let it slide. Oh, let it slide. Let it slide. Stop letting issues dramatize, or something like that. I don't know. Stop letting it dramatize. I forgot what it stands for. Go to the video I did on it. We went over the whole acronym, but he was like, the J Prince family was like, let it slide. I'm like, you're so insensitive. This man died. How would you feel if your relative died? You're just going to let it slide? Like, that is so insensitive. So I'm like, what, if anything, is the connection there? We know about Lil Cam's connection to the Prince family and the long history, and how Lil Cam's father is connected to the J Prince family, and that's how Lil Cam got connected to the J Prince family. But where does this DJ come into all of this equation? It's so random. But we know but he at least has a consciousness of guilt for the fact that he tried to flee, y'all, and had cash on him. He was not trying to come back to America. I can tell you Takeoff was not involved in playing the dice game. He was not involved in the argument that happened outside. He was not armed. He was an innocent bystander. And that's what the Sergeant Michael Burrows said. He suggested that the investigation has stalled because of the lack of witnesses willing to speak with the authorities. And that is so disappointing in this case. I know people are all about don't snitch, but yes, you need to. You need to, for justice for individuals. How would you feel if it was your family member? And we already know what Lil Cam's attorney's trying to do, trying to deny his client shot Takeoff after a gun charge. But guys, with this bombshell response from that chief, that officer, is quite shocking to me. He did not leave me with any confidence that they're for sure certain that Cameron Joshua's bullets, if any, are not responsible for this, because I feel like all of us are really shocked. People are all online enraged. They're enraged. They're like, are you serious? Take a look at this guy. I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys this. This guy right here, he had me laughing. He was like, so we all was wrong about Takeoff because who the HE double hockey sticks is Patrick Clark. Exactly. This is so random. I so agree with this guy. Who the heck is Patrick Clark? Nobody knows. He's so random. He's like a DJ. It's such a like shocker. And to know this guy was trying to flee. So these are the two culprits so far. But there's I cannot stand this dude's little smirky, ugly, stank face. Every time I see him, I just want to. He's so evil to me. He just gives me evil vibe. Look at, he always has that stank face every time you look at him. Every time he's just so insensitive, y'all. Let's take a look and see what they're talking about on Facebook about this. Look, another person says Patrick Clark, 33, was arrested Thursday and charged with murder. Houston Police Chief Troy Finner said at a news conference. And then this person's like, who is that? Because it's so random. Like, we literally, for the whole month, everybody online literally has been studying these videos that we have. This is the guy too. This is supposed to be his social media, but I don't think it is. I think they got the wrong social media for him. But we literally studied this case, guys, left and right. We studied the videos, and nobody saw this random DJ Patrick. He was clearly there because I just showed you the earlier photo of him. But none of us foresaw was going to be this random dude. But clearly, he knew he was guilty because he was over here trying to flee with a passport. So I just want to see if they have anything juicy on here on Facebook, because sometimes they be having some juicy stuff. It doesn't look like they have the same stuff we have. So yeah, guys, this story has taken a turn of its own. It's making me think of Days of Our Lives with all the drama that's going on. But y'all, like Callie Nurse is saying, look at her with the popcorn and the wine. I'm done with you, Callie Nurse. She had her little popcorn and her wine. She was not playing. Girl, isn't this story crazy? So we shall see what's going to happen. It's not over. It's not over. You know what? Cameron Joshua is still back in the deck of cards of possible suspects. So I feel a little better because I'm like, I know my eyes was not playing with me. I saw what I saw. They just can't prove it. That's why he's not charged yet. Because, let's look at that chief one more time, because that chief looked like he was, one more time, y'all, before we leave, because that chief, he didn't look like he was too certain with his answer when they said about Joshua. He said,
Joshua's gun was used. Joshua's gun was used in this crime.
We're not going to discuss that right now. It's still active in investigation. We told you, and just not a whole lot of details. The main thing right now, he's in custody. All right.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now. It's still active in investigation. We told you, and just not a whole lot of details. The main thing right now, he's in custody. All right.
Was it Joshua's gun that was used in this crime?
We're not going to discuss that right now.
so it's not over, y'all. We shall see. Stay tuned. Good night.